Welcome to Orn Oth's Bedtime Stories. Tonight's story, Orn Oth's Thanksgiving Feast, written by Orn Oth the Dragon and read by Orn Oth the Dragon. As the sun rose and softly lit his room, the little silver dragon Orn Oth began to wake up and stretched his little front claws out in front of him so far that they hung off the pillow he had been sleeping on. Orn Oth hopped out of bed and waddled over to his table to check his books. His adopted family had given him his own room and lots of things to learn, and Orn Oth loved reading through his books because not only did they help him to learn new things, but they also were full of pretty pictures. Right now, Orn Oth was learning his ABCs and numbers, but soon he would learn all kinds of other fun things too. He liked to start his day with a little learning and some breakfast. So after he studied a bit, Orn Oth headed for the kitchen. His sister Lenora was already cooking in the kitchen. She was a crimson-red dragon with long spiral horns, wings that glistened yellow on the inside, and she loved to cook. Orn Oth looked around and saw that there were lots of ingredients out on the counters. "What is all that for?" Orn Oth asked, pointing to bags of flour, sugar, and spices. Lenora looked down at him from the chair she was standing on to be able to reach the stove. "It is for the Thanksgiving feast we're making, of course," Lenora said. Orn Oth simply sat there looking confused. This is when Jasper wobbled into the kitchen. Jasper had a disability. Part of the inside of his head had not fully developed, so he had a difficult time walking without stumbling around. "Hi guys," Jasper greeted. He was always happy and never let a problem stop him from turning a disadvantage into an advantage. Orn Oth and Lenora greeted the little topaz dragon as he looked at them, his head swaying from side to side so he didn't fall over. Jasper's scales looked like lots of tan gems all glued together, especially on the membranes of his wings. He also had lots of small spikes on his tail, and at the tip of his tail, little overlapping fins that he often used as scissors. "Jasper, we have a job to do," Lenora said. "Our brother Orn Oth has never heard of Thanksgiving." Jasper's eyes went wide. "What? That is unacceptable. Come with me, Orn Oth. We need to teach you all about it," Jasper declared. So Orn Oth followed Jasper outside the cottage to the field behind the house. Jasper wanted to teach Orn Oth by playing a game. Games were his favorite way to learn and to teach others. First, they pretended that they were in a place called England, where they were not able to have the life they wanted. Then they pretended to build a ship and set sail for a new place where they could try and make the life that they always wanted. They played by a patch of ground that had lots of big rocks in it, and jumped from rock to rock, pretending to build houses and forts. They also pretended to plant crops in the grass around the rocks. These were their farms. Then the winter came. It was rough. They didn't get enough food to last all the way through, so the next year they tried harder, but did not do much better until the natives came to help them out. They ended up with such a great harvest that they decided to throw a party and cook a feast for themselves and their new friends that helped them to survive. At the end of their game, Jasper explained to Orn Oth that this is where Thanksgiving had come from. "It's all about being grateful for the friends and things you have, and all that is good, like candy and sisters or mothers who help you when you fall down," Jasper said. So the two of them went back inside, now very hungry for breakfast. Then, after eating, Orn Oth suggested that they help with making the feast. But Jasper just wanted to go back outside and dance. He was a wonderful dancer, and it helped him to use his disability to his advantage. While Jasper danced outside, Lenora taught Orn Oth how to make all kinds of yummy foods. But the one that made him giggle was when Lenora had Orn Oth make a candy pie. It was made with graham cracker crust, pudding, and cookie crumbs. This made it look like dirt, and she had him add in gummy worms, so it was a joke pie. Orn Oth looked around at the food that they had made, as well as the food that they were working on, and the food yet to be made. He thought for a moment and realized something. "Lenora, there is too much food here to eat. What are we going to do with it all?" Orn Oth asked. "We are going to share it," Lenora said with pride. "Mama is out right now inviting others to come over and enjoy it with us." Orn Oth liked the idea of lots of people eating the food that they had worked hard to make. Thinking of the smiles they would have as they tried the food made him want to wag his tail. It took them all afternoon to finish everything, and the whole time Jasper was absent. Orn Oth asked if they should look for him, but Lenora said she thought it would be best to wait until Lily came home. If he was not there by then, she would find him herself. Orn Oth and Lenora then decided to take a short nap. After all that cooking, they were so tired. So they waddled off to their rooms. That is when someone snuck into the kitchen. Soon Orn Oth and Lenora woke up from their nap. But when they came to the kitchen, they were shocked to see that all the food was gone. Lenora was the first to recover, and suggested that Jasper may have come back and taken the food outside, to where he was supposed to have set up the tables and chairs for the feast. So the two of them hurried up and rushed outside. There were tables and chairs. There were all the plates and dishes. But there was no food, not even a crumb. The dishes were completely clean. "How is this possible? We didn't sleep long enough to miss everything, did we?" Orn Oth asked. "No, we didn't sleep that long. I made sure because I didn't want to miss the fun," Lenora responded. Perplexed, they waddled about looking for clues, but couldn't find anything. Orn Oth felt like crying, and so did Lenora. They had worked all day long, but now all they had to show for it was tables full of dishes without any food on them. They sat down, feeling completely defeated. That is when they heard giggling coming from the roof of the cottage. They looked up, and there was Jasper snickering at them as they tried to figure out what he had done with the food. "Jasper, what did you do?" Lenora demanded. Jasper held up a single claw. Now, we're supposed to be grateful. Let's not give away the rules of the game to everyone, or they won't be able to play," he responded. Lenora frowned. That didn't make any sense to her. But Orn Oth perked up and ran to one of the tables. "That is brilliant," Orn Oth praised. Lenora looked at him, wondering what he meant. "You has to play the game. To see the food, you have to be grateful for the company, and imagine that it is there," he explained. Lenora looked up at Jasper, who moved the claw he was holding to the tip of his snout and winked. "Boys," Lenora sighed. "You used Mommy's magic, didn't you?" she accused. Jasper spread his front claws in a shrug and wobbled to one side. "It's a special occasion. I thought I would use the best," he said. "I can't wait to play," Orn Oth said. Luckily, he didn't have to wait, as this is when Lily arrived with 24 guests. Lenora scampered over to her, flew up to her shoulder, and hovered next to her while she whispered in her ear. Lily raised an eyebrow at Jasper, but did not say anything. Jasper glided down from the roof and hugged her, then went and sat down at one of the tables. Lily had everyone else follow suit, and then she asked each of the guests to think of something or someone they were grateful for. Then she asked each to share what it was they had thought of. Some of the guests took longer than others to catch on to the game, but one by one each was astonished as their gratitude created a feast before their eyes. That day each learned that when you are grateful for what you have, you make room in your heart for even more to be thankful for. The end.